Hello and welcome to episode 119, where I talk with my teacher, Vaidya Jayarajan Kanath from Kerala Ayurveda, about the current status of Ayurveda in the US and in the world, and how we maintain and protect these traditional ancient teachings, along with how to choose an Ayurvedic professional educational program. So please stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda, Empowering Wisdom of Life. I'm your host, Colette, and in this podcast, I hope to empower you to take charge of your own health by sharing the holistic teachings of Ayurveda, the ancient healing tradition from India. We will also discuss topics like health and wellness, nutrition, yoga, fitness, meditation, breath work, and much more, as well as interviewing lots of inspiring people along the way. My humble wish is to help you to connect to your true nature, to Mother Nature, and to each other. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the show, and the new episodes will automatically download for you to enjoy. If you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend you listen to the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. I've also set up a Facebook group for us to connect and to support each other, and I'd love for you to join me over at Elements of Ayurveda podcast group. And now, here's the show. Hello and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda. Today I'm very happy to welcome back Vaidya Jayarajan Kanath, who is a visionary, a classical trained Ayurvedic doctor, and an accomplished teacher representing a lineage of Ayurveda practitioners from Kerala, India. He is currently working as the Vice President and Academy Director of Kerala Ayurveda USA, and is on the Board of Directors of NAMA, the National Ayurveda Medical Association in the US, and CAAM, the California Association of Ayurvedic Medicine, with a mission to make Ayurveda as a credible profession in the Western world. Dr. Jay worked as the Chief Medical Officer at an internationally acclaimed Ayurvedic resort at Bangalore, India, called Ayurvedagram, for more than 10 years before moving to America. Welcome back to this show, Dr. Jay. I'm very happy to have you here today.
Oh, thank you, Colette, and it's so nice to be here. And you have been doing an amazing job. The Elements, Natural Healing and Well-Being, your podcasts are very popular these days. I'm so happy, and you are a very important part of the growth of Ayurveda globally.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's all due to your education, because I studied with you at Kerala Ayurveda. You know, I was thinking about the topic of our discussion for our chat today with you, Dr. Jay, and I really want to take advantage of the fact that not only do I get this opportunity to talk with somebody who comes from a lineage of Ayurvedic practitioners, but also from someone who's at the forefront of bringing Ayurveda into the mainstream. Therefore, I want to take advantage of all this knowledge and experience, Dr. Jay, and discuss with you the current state of Ayurveda in the US and the world. Now, let me start by asking this. The last time we spoke, we talked about your role with the NAMA Board of Directors in getting accreditation for Ayurveda. What's the current status of that accreditation?
Oh, thank you for that question. You know, I'm really excited. I'm really proud and excited to say that the accreditation body we have constituted, and it is, we will be able to launch the whole accreditation process rollout by spring, 2020. And it's really exciting because this is to set the benchmark, in taking Ayurveda forward, the professional Ayurveda forward, like any other professions in the healthcare field. Absolutely. And it is so important for the growth of Ayurveda.
Absolutely, yes. And Ayurveda is exploding right now. And that's my next question I want to ask you. You know, I remember last time we spoke, Dr. Jay, you shared with us that when you started teaching in the US, which is over a decade ago now?
Yeah, almost a decade.
Almost a decade. But you mentioned back in that last podcast that you and your students had a really hard time sourcing Ayurvedic herbs and oils and so on. But now that Ayurveda is spreading so rapidly, in fact, a report came out in Market Watch in October 2019 stating that the global Ayurvedic market value in 2017 was $4.5 billion US dollars. And it is expected to reach $14.9 billion US dollars by 2026. Now, this is very exciting. But I have to say, Dr. J, I'm a little concerned because I was involved in the yoga industry for many years, and I'm a little concerned that Ayurveda is going to go the way of yoga in the West, in that being branded and commercialized. What are your thoughts on this? Are you concerned?
Good question. And it's amazing. I saw that particular report of a growth, expected growth more than 3 times within 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a huge growth.
It's a massive. It really is exploding.
It's like a tsunami of, Ayurveda globally going to happen.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, I am also concerned. One side I'm excited, on the other side I'm concerned. Because as you mentioned about yoga, if you are not careful to hold that space of Ayurveda, the tradition of Ayurveda, the comprehensiveness of Ayurveda, and the root principles of Ayurveda, we may also go for, the jumping Ayurveda or the raw Ayurveda. We may get into these trends. That's what exactly happened to yoga.
Yes.
So this is the time all the Ayurveda lovers, Ayurveda professionals, Ayurveda organization to hold the space together and make sure that we are following the root principles of Ayurveda.
Absolutely. And I see that, in fact, India, the home of Ayurveda, is taking steps now, isn't that correct, to really make sure that Ayurveda is protected. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Definitely. The current, government in India gave a lot of importance to the traditional knowledge, the heritage of India, the traditional knowledge of India. And, promoting that. And because it's, for global health, I've been a clinician for more than 2 decades, and I was able to support thousands of people in my last, or rather, I was blessed to get the opportunity to support thousands of people. I know exactly what Ayurveda can do for the world, both for sick as well as for healthy people. So I'm so happy that India government is taking a lot of steps in propagating the authentic Ayurveda, the education and practice, and making, Ayurvedic system more visible and legalized in various geographies.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. And it's so necessary now. And I think that it's a responsibility for each of us, who are passionate about Ayurveda and working within Ayurveda. And there's many listeners to this podcast who are practicing Ayurveda and are students. And I think it's our responsibility as well to protect the classic traditions and teachings of Ayurveda. Can you give us some advice with all your experience, Dr. J? Can you give us any advice or do's and don'ts or aspects we should be aware of in order to ensure that we as professionals maintain and preserve this ancient wisdom?
Oh, that's a great question, Colette.
A big one too.
Hey, yes. And this is an important question for Ayurvedic professionals to get clarity about, because Ayurveda is not like any other technical, medical, healthcare sciences. This is a science with a lot of depth and a lot of breadth, understanding the whole human being, not just the height and weight and the numbers on a blood report. The whole health and well-being and balance of the physical, mental, emotional, and the consciousness. So it is a consciousness-based medicine. It is a holistic medicine which is highly personalized. It's so interesting. One science that look at everything as a part of one, then zooms in to an individual. Yeah. It's a highly personalized medicine with a holistic approach. So that makes Ayurveda special. That means you need to have that in-depth knowledge the thought process, the principles, the Ayurvedic thought process about a clinical condition, the Ayurvedic thought process about somebody to enhance their quality of life, it is different from the modern approach. For example, most of the modern approach to heal a problem is directly going into the problem. It's a painful disorder, how I can relieve pain. There is swelling, how can I relieve swelling? There is pus formation, how can I stop it? It's always going into the disease regarding the whole individual. Whereas Ayurveda clearly believes, and in our practice, that we can heal the problem only through the individual. So there is no disease management. It is management of the individual with the disease. Their digestion, their health, their mind, their emotion, their state of consciousness. These are all so important in helping somebody recover from their problem. Because at the end of the day, if you get a cut or a wound, whatever you apply, whatever you take in, the individual's body has to create the new tissue of healing. So, since that is the approach, the Ayurvedic professional should have a very comprehensive knowledge, not only about the body, about how the mind works, what are the practices, various tools, right? So one is the depth and breadth of their knowledge accruing. And, to my students, I always say that this is a lifelong journey. This is not a finite study for 1 year or 2 years. You will never finish learning Ayurveda. We are all students at different levels. Yes. I started my swimming a little bit early in this ocean, but it's a whole, open field for us to get into. So one is keep studying. That is my guidance to all professionals of Ayurveda. You will never finish studying.
That's wonderful.
Every day you are progressing. That is one. Second is, please be very clear about your scope of practice. Based on your education level, you may be an Ayurvedic wellness counselor, or an Ayurvedic practitioner, or an Ayurvedic doctor, or a Vaidya, whoever in the field. Please be very clear about your scope of practice and practice within your knowledge base. Practice within what you learned and what you are confident about. Because we are working with the human lives, the human health and human life. Yes. We have the responsibility. And when you are working within your knowledge and scope of practice, then you'll be able to do good for everybody. Whenever you go beyond your scope, that means you are just trying to do something you are not confident or you are not thorough with, that may have a negative impact. And please be careful, because a negative impact of your suggestions to somebody, one individual, will never be considered as your error. It will be always projected as the error of the system.
Yes.
We have already seen that. The story of, there are many stories about Ayurveda. Many a time, one incident, an error of one professional in the field is considered as the problem of the field. So it is not only to protect you, to protect this great science, to ensure that it is growing, ensure we are able to take to every corner of this world. We all Ayurvedic professionals should be extremely careful about what we are saying and what we are doing. I really get concerned sometimes about looking at the social media, the discussions happening on certain forums, and the herbs suggested, the formulations suggested.
Right.
And many of them, they talk about things. It's very clear they don't know much about it. They are just projecting beyond what they can. It may be because of enthusiasm, love towards Ayurveda, and their passion about Ayurveda. But we need to hold our horse. We need to work within, enhance the knowledge base to enhance your scope.
Absolutely.
This is a very, very important message I want to pass to all Ayurvedic professionals across the globe.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful advice there. And absolutely, I always think of Ayurveda as a very humble science. And so those of us working within it and studying Ayurveda really have to bring that humility into our work and into our study. And like you said, respect this amazing, deep science and this ancient wisdom, and be very humble in our practices and make sure that we're within our scope of practice and that we have this enthusiasm to always be studying and be passionate about learning continuously with Ayurveda, which makes it so exciting because you're always learning.
Exactly. Because, see, if the goal of Ayurveda is to make every individual healthy, harmonious, happy, peaceful, and able to live the longest possible. These are the goals of Ayurveda. Even our Ayurvedic professionals should be able to exhibit that, to express that. And, I want all the Ayurvedic practitioners to enjoy their practice, not get worried about, what will happen to their rogi or, the client.
Yes.
Or they are concerned, they are scared. Whenever you go beyond what you know, then automatically deep inside you, there will be concerns.
Absolutely.
Because you are not sure about it.
Yeah.
And no point being an Ayurveda professional and internally scared and worried, etc. No need.
Exactly.
I always say that a person who knows only the fundamental principles of Ayurveda, even they can help other people. Then you stay with the principles only.
Yes.
Those who know about 100 herbs, they can definitely help much more, but stay within that known 100 herbs,
Yes.
So that should be a principle we all need to keep within us to protect ourselves and Ayurveda.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that we need to respect the herbs because, yes, they're natural, yes, they're medicine, but if given the incorrect advice to somebody, this natural medicine could also cause further aggravation for that person if it's not taken correctly.
Of course. I can tell you a lot of such stories about, people may say that, hey, Chavanaprasha, it is one of the rejuvenating jam consistency, traditional formulation. Somebody told me, hey, Chavanaprasha, it increases blood sugar. Then I told, in whom? No, when the diabetic people, and who asked you to give Chavanaprasha to an uncontrolled diabetes case? It is a wrong suggestion. It is not the side effect of Chavanaprasha. You have given that when it is not advised to give,
Right, exactly. And that's the problem with giving general advice to people. I'm very cautious of that, reminding people that there's no one size fits all. There's no one general advice. For herbs, you really have to get individual tailored advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so important for us to remember. And like you, Dr. J, I really believe that you mentioned earlier that Ayurveda, it's exploding now, and I think we need it now more than ever, this ancient wisdom, as we're going through challenging times. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that. How can Ayurveda help us in the world today and really help raise consciousness and make a difference? This ancient science now, I think there's a reason it's coming to the forefront in our modern age. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that. How do you see Ayurveda being a big factor in raising consciousness and helping people come into balance?
Definitely. Colette, today I'm here because of that conviction. Coming from a traditional Ayurvedic background, seeing how it helped a lot of people from my childhood. And I know how it can transform the entire world. Not only about, the physical health or even the mental health. This is a science for human transformation.
Yes.
This is a science that brings harmony. This is the science that brings, happiness. This is the science that help us to understand the purpose of our life and accomplish that. And, help us to be feeling fulfilled and happy by the end of the physical, existence. And I always say this, the success of our life is not about our bank balance or how much real estate we accrued. The real success of our life is, at the end of this physical existence, are you able to touch your heart and say that, hey, I have done whatever I can. I am so happy and I am feeling fulfilled. Thank you so much. If you are able to really tell that from your heart, that is considered the highest human achievement.
Absolutely.
And there is no science like Ayurveda, which is that much comprehensive, right? Now, it is much more relevant than ever before. The way we are contaminating our nature, right?
Yes.
The way the genetic modification, the way we use the chemicals and poisons, and thinking that the whole earth is for human beings, the whole nature is for human beings. So human beings are blessed with that additional intelligence. And sometimes I really think whether it was a blessing or a curse. I'm not sure, because the way we manipulate the nature, the way we contaminate our own nature, the way we cause changes, the climate change, etc. It's really alarming.
Yes.
And what is the way out? If we want to make a shift, what is the way out? That is Ayurveda.
Absolutely.
Because Ayurveda is very clear. If you want to take care of yourself, take care of the nature around you. Why? Because there is no difference between you and the nature. Every inhalation, the pranavayu, the oxygen, it was a part of a plant a few minutes ago. Every exhalation you do, that is for your body, it is a toxin, but it is a food for another plant around you. You neutralize each other. You take care of each other. Every moment you are transforming into nature, nature is transforming into you. There is a harmony. And how to reinstate that harmony? The life together with the animals, the birds, every grass, every plant, every micro, biome, every microorganism, how to live in harmony. And there is no other science, in my knowledge, having that kind of a deep and broad understanding about sustaining the life, sustaining the nature, sustaining the health, and making positive transformation in human lives.
Yes.
This is essential today. Very, very essential. And if you want to make any changes in an individual's life or in a group's life or the global life, the only way is to transform, transform the consciousness, build awareness. If you want people globally to embrace good things, start being more compassionate, loving and caring and supportive, get rid of the negativities, get rid of, all the harming processes, building awareness is the only way to transform human lives. And Ayurveda is all about knowledge about life, the wisdom of life, and rooted in the principles of nature. That's what we need today.
Yes. Beautifully said, and absolutely. And this is another thing that concerns me about this massive growth in Ayurveda, that it gets condensed down too much into just doshas or into just cleansing or into just supplements and so on, that I'm so glad we're discussing this for people to understand that it's so much more than that. That yes, we start with healing ourselves, but essentially it's about connecting you not only to Mother Nature, but also to your true nature, so that you can bring out those skill sets into the world and carry out your dharma, so you will be happy, so you're part of the greater consciousness, and also that has a ripple effect out, and that's what we want for everybody and for the world, right? Is this feeling that everyone feels that they're of service. When we're being of service, we feel happy, there's a flow in life and so on. And I think, again, Ayurveda teaches us humility, and it's humility about, the world is not for our taking, the environment is not for our taking. We need to be humble in that we are here and we are part of nature, not
absolutely,
egocentric and take nature for our use.
Absolutely. Changing, the human consciousness. At the end of the day, we all need to say bye-bye to this physical world, and as long as we are alive, what best we can do for ourselves, for our family, our friends, our community, this nature,
Yeah.
in creating harmony and peace and, health.
Yeah.
And if you are aware about that, this is a temporary life for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I want to contribute the best what I can. If every human is aware about that aspect, the world will change.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is wonderful. And, it gives us the connection that we're all craving now. There's so much talk about how we're lacking connection to each other and lacking connection to nature. Nature is our biggest healer. And that the Ayurveda teaches us, yes, we need this connection. And this connection is important. And if we start connecting with our true nature and with Mother Nature, this in turn will lead us to a greater awareness and understanding that we are all connected.
Sure.
So it's, yeah.
Yes, exactly. We need to get more strength, more, more harmony, more balance, so that we can resist all disorders, all pathogens, all, these days people are getting hypersensitive to the nature, the pollen and the gluten, the lactose. And many, most of the people, they believe that pollen is my problem. But the reality is, if 30 people are sitting outside and enjoying the bloom of the spring, only 3 or 4 or 5 are sneezing and having congestion. The 25 are still enjoying. So it's a problem with the bloom or the problem with the 5.
Right.
Allergy is not the problem of the pollen. It is the hypersensitivity of the individual's immune system. So how we can strengthen and balance the immune system is about managing that hypersensitivity to avoid the infections. It's all about our inner strength, balance, and the shield what we are creating ourselves to protect ourselves.
Exactly, and just and keeping ourselves in balance and getting education and understanding how to do that. So I'm going to jump in here because talking about staying balanced and Ayurvedic education, I wanted to let you know about my upcoming group discounted Daily Habits for Holistic Health course and a special competition I have running to win a free entry into that course. I'm hosting this special group discounted course to provide support and accountability as you go through it. And it begins on February 21st, 2020. And this course, it's all about aligning with the daily energy cycles, the circadian rhythms, and understanding how to structure your day and your work with these energies so that you thrive in life. We'll also discuss the different mental qualities of Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas, and how mindfulness practices can really help keep your mind in balance. And you'll learn about the simple foundation of healing from Ayurveda, along with learning how to develop your intuition, the power of positivity, and the power of compassion, and how all these can really affect your health and well-being. Like I said, this course starts February 21st, the group discounted course. If you're listening to this after that date, it is available privately year-round, so just check that out in the show notes. And I do have a special competition running until Valentine's Day, February 14th, where you can win a free entry into this group discounted course. So please check out that link in the show notes or go to my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. Click on the events tab. There you'll find the competition and all the details on this group discounted Daily Habits for Holistic Health course. So I hope you can join us and really understand why Ayurveda tells us that an imbalance with the fundamental energies and rhythms of nature, it can be a primary cause for dis-ease in our body and mind. Okay, let's go back to this conversation with Dr. J. So talking about education, I do get a lot of questions from listeners who are interested in studying Ayurveda. You know, a lot of people, they learn about it. They get very excited about Ayurveda because it's very logical. It really connects with them. It really resonates with them. And so they're like, oh, how do I study? Where should I study? And so on. And as someone who's involved with the NAMA, the National Ayurvedic Medical Association in the US, could you give any advice to someone who's out there searching for somewhere to study Ayurveda?
Of course. So the first point about how to, where to study and how to study Ayurveda, first point would be look for the programs which is rooted in the tradition, rooted in the root knowledge of Ayurveda, the ancient text of Ayurveda. One of the limitations or one of the challenges what Ayurveda is facing is, all the ancient texts are written in the form of sutras. Sutras are aphorisms. That means a word in an ancient text of Ayurveda can be explained into pages because that word is a placeholder. Right. It is not the verbatim meaning, that is not the concept. So first is looking for programs that is really, rooted in the ancient texts and able to bring that comprehensive explanation to their education program. Make sure that it is following the ancient texts of Ayurveda, with, of course, the modern practical tips and tools, not a problem, because you need to implement this in the current world. But the knowledge is coming from the roots. That is one. Second is make sure that you are getting the whole comprehensive understanding about various aspects of Ayurveda. Because Ayurveda is, it's the whole aspect of life need to be covered. That could be the fundamental principles, understanding the Ayurvedic physiology, understanding about the mind, and understanding the natural ingredients available in your kitchen and kitchen garden, and the cooking and nutrition, the preventative practices, the importance of truthful living, how you can help yourself, the herbs and the rare treasures from the nature, the healing ingredients, Ayurveda and yoga, Ayurvedic natural cleansing and rejuvenation process, understanding the disease pathology according to the Ayurvedic principles, understanding the fundamental principles of disease management. There is a whole area, to make a well-rounded counselor, well-rounded Ayurvedic practitioner. You should have all these in place. When you just learn about few herbs and, some modern terminology, hey, Guduji is good for thyroid, or, the Trikadu is good for digestion and metabolism. Not in all cases, right? Right. So that the program should have all the comprehensiveness. So it should be from the roots, it should be comprehensive. Of course, if you want to go with a professional education in Ayurveda, make sure that it is vetted by, it is reviewed by credible organizations. For example, in the US, a NAMA approved program means NAMA over a period of time set the standards of education at, all the three levels: Ayurvedic health counselor, Ayurvedic practitioner, Ayurvedic doctor. There is a scope of practice defined. There is continued education requirement defined. There is a national board exam. So there is a professional review and the approval of the program. So look for programs approved by such organizations like NAMA. So you know that it's a vetted program. Yes. It meets certain standards.
So important.
All these are important in identifying the right program for you. Then, of course, Ayurveda is an ocean. You may be passionate about, nutrition. You can be, focus on the Ayurvedic nutrition. You may be interested in the healing herbs or, want to make your own product line. You can focus on the herbology. You may like to touch and heal. You can opt for Panchakarma, become a Panchakarma technician, So for every, interest, there is an opportunity in Ayurveda. Yes.
Wonderful. Like you said, it's an ocean. You can keep on studying, but just to make sure that those courses are rooted in the knowledge, that they're comprehensive, and that they're accredited, that they're approved by a board in whatever country you're in, and so important. So that's wonderful advice. And I'd love to talk a little bit now about Kerala Ayurveda, where I studied, your school in the US, and just tell us a little bit about the programs that you have available there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. You know, as you know, I'm coming from Kerala in India. You know, Kerala is known for the place for authentic Ayurvedic education practice. You know, in the globe, if you look at the whole, global map, Kerala will be identified as the root of that authentic knowledge. So that is exactly our passion. Kerala Ayurveda, you know, is an institution established in 1945. In fact, this year is our 75th year, celebration.
Congratulations.
75 years in the field of Ayurveda.
My goodness.
And touched over 1 million of lives. We have more than 30 clinics in India, 3 hospitals, an international healing facility called Ayurvedagram. And we make all these resources available to our students. We have internships in India. They can go and practice and work with the doctors in Ayurvedic hospitals in India. So, first of all, we want to really we always keep the ancient text with us. We may teach in English, but every concept what we'll be teaching there will be a reference in the ancient text. So in the US, we have 3 types of programs. One is professional Ayurvedic education. Second is continued education programs. Third is public education. In the professional education, we have the level 1 program called Ayurvedic Wellness Counselor. It is a 1-year program with 625 hours. Then we have second level program, that is Ayurvedic Practitioner, the primary clinician of Ayurveda. It is a 1,000-hour program with a mandatory 200 hours of clinical internship. Then we have the third level program, that is we just launched it in 2019, the prestigious Ayurvedic doctor program.
So exciting.
Yes. And a syllabus created in alignment with the BAMS syllabus in India.
Wow.
And also the guidelines of the World Health Organization for the Ayurvedic education. So that is the third level program. It is first level and second levels are the prerequisite for that program. Then another 2.5 years. So that means it need about 5 years plus to finish the whole 3 levels if you want to become an Ayurvedic doctor graduate.
Wonderful.
Then we have the Panchakarma Technician certification. That is also a professional program. It is a 11-month program, creating confident Ayurvedic Panchakarma technicians. We just finished one program now. The second, group is getting enrolled at this point of time. So these are the 4 professional education programs offered by Kerala Ayurveda in the US, and which is also, we are leveraging all the technology. We have distance education program. Most of the content will be delivered in real time or, online. And we, bring them either into US, our California school facility and the wellness center, or we take them to India for the clinical internship, clinical training, and the practical training. Then the continued education program, we have different models. We have hands-on practical workshops. For example, this February, next month, there is an Ayurvedic formulation making workshop. It's a 3-day workshop. We make most of the traditional format of formulations.
Great.
And like the decoctions and the ghee preparations and oils and the jams and the tablets, all those things. So we have that kind of practical intensives, Ayurvedic assessment workshop, Panchakarma, then formulation making, Ayurvedic skin and beauty workshop. Then we have many web series. One of my favorites in our continued education program is the Ashtanga Hridayam. It is going through the root text of Ayurveda. I chant each verse, each line of the Sanskrit ancient text. I make the participant to chant with me, explain verbatim meaning, explain the deeper concept behind every line. So it's an ongoing series. It will take few years for me to complete that text, but it's a very interesting, exciting journey.
That's amazing.
And another exciting introduction, the new program, that is the Vedic Herbs and Formulation series. We are launching in September. The enrollment already started. because I felt globally the Ayurvedic professional, the weak point is the knowledge about the traditional Ayurvedic formulations from the ancient texts with a very wide and deep use as well as the herbs. So I'm starting a series. It is an online series. I will be taking up the most common, most effective, comprehensive traditional formulations available in the US and educate, chant with them the ancient texts, go through that, talk about the ingredients, where to use, when to use, what are the contraindications, all those things. So I'm excited to launch that. That is one of my passionate area, the herbology and pharmaceutics of Ayurveda.
Oh,
So,
wow. It's just amazing what you're offering for people. It's fantastic.
Sure.
Absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. And you also have an event coming up this summer, the India immersion trip?
Yes. Oh, that is amazing. That is, yeah, I have been doing that. I have done that twice now in 2017 and 2018. See, India is a very interesting country. It is a diversified country. It is a country with thousands of years of tradition. The root of Ayurveda, the root of yoga, the root of Vedanta, the root of Vedic astrology, the root of Vedic architecture. There is a lot of knowledge developed in India for thousands of years. And that is, that is there ingrained in the culture, in the cuisine, in the language, in the lifestyle practices, in the cultural centers they created, in the nature. So the whole idea is taking people and really immerse them, soak them in the roots of Ayurveda, Yoga, Vedanta, and the tradition. So I thoroughly enjoy that, traveling and being with the group whole time. Usually I used to do that for 15 days. This year onwards, it is a 3-week, 21 days.
Amazing.
Where we'll be going to important places. We will be experiencing the culture, the cuisine, the healing, the practices, the nature, the wildlife, everything. So this time, the India immersion that is happening in July, 1 week will be in North India, the spiritual abode of ashrams in the Haridwar, the Rishikesh, and one of the world wonders, Taj Mahal in Agra, New Delhi. And we'll be going to the Pink City, the city of, palaces and the forts, that is Jaipur. And the most important historical, cultural, Ayurvedic, yogic, spiritual places. Then we'll go to the South India, the root of Kerala, Ayurveda, my roots, my home place. And, it's like taking people to my home.
Amazing.
So we will have meals served in plantain leaves and the traditional vegetarian, feast. We'll be taking them through the special training, like, in the US, I cannot teach them the bloodletting, the Rakta Moksha, the Agni Karma.
Yes.
So we will be showing them that and teaching them that. We will do community services. Spend a day with the old age home people, consulting them, guiding them, and taking care of them. Travel through the wild forest. I will teach the herbs grown in the wild forest naturally for centuries.
Amazing.
Nobody planted it there. It has been there for centuries in the Western Ghats, in the evergreen forest aspect of Kerala. And wildlife, spices, and healing, own rejuvenation, and seeing a lot of ancient temples of India, and everybody enjoys that, so far.
It sounds like the trip of a lifetime. So who can join this? Who can join this trip, Dr. Jay?
There is no prerequisite for this program. You need not be an existing Ayurvedic student or graduate to join this program. You need not be an yoga student or, anybody who is really interested in understanding, and soaking in the real tradition of India, the tradition of Ayurveda yoga, they're all welcome to join this trip.
That sounds amazing. Well, I hope to join you this summer. I really do. So it's
wonderful.
Yes, when I heard about it, I was like, I have to do this. I haven't been to India yet, so I really hope to join you this summer. I'm very
good.
I'm very excited.
You can join me. That will be great. All the 21 days, I'll be there full time.
Wonderful. Yes.
Guiding, showing, and sharing the stories, the knowledge. Yes.
Well, that's what made me very interested in it. So yes. Fingers crossed all will work out. Thank you for explaining all that. And it's amazing, Dr. J, what you're offering and how comprehensive it is and such a well-rounded programs. Can you tell people where they can get in touch with Kerala Ayurveda and find out more?
Of course. Our website is updated almost every day. So all the information available on our website, keralaayurveda.us. And you will get all the information about the professional education, continued education, India immersion, free talks, all the programs. It is keralaayurveda.us. KeralaAyurveda.us. Or they can also, anybody interested want to have an interaction. If any question, they can definitely call our number 888-275-9103. That is our number to reach out to our academy, the enrollment team or the wellness center team. So that would be another option to do that.
Wonderful. Yes, because you have a wellness center, not only the school there, the academy, but also a wellness center as well.
Yes, we exactly implement what we teach.
Yes. And you're located where in California?
In California, we are at 691 South Milpitas Boulevard, suite number 206, Milpitas, California. It is about, 9 minutes drive from the San Jose airport.
Okay.
Yeah, it is in Silicon Valley, the San Francisco Bay Area.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. J, thank you so much for not only spending time with us today and making time. I know you're extremely busy, but also for all the work you're doing in really being a leader in Ayurveda and bringing Ayurveda to the West, and also protecting the ancient texts and really giving us such valuable education and being there as a leader, and a humble leader at that. So I just really appreciate you. And again, thank you for this conversation today. I'm really glad that we talked about the current status of Ayurveda and the future, which I'm very excited about. And I'm glad that you were able to give people some advice today.
Oh, thank you, Colette. It's my pleasure and it's my dharma. You are helping me to express my dharma in this world. Wonderful. Of sharing this knowledge. That's why, Colette, your podcast and such, programs are so important for helping Ayurveda to reach various parts of the globe. And I'm very clear, my life is for this. My life is dedicated to Ayurveda, and I want to make sure that we are bringing the real root knowledge. And I always say that, whenever I teach, there is nothing from my pocket. There is no Dr. J's Panchakarma, Dr. J's, I'm here to just translate and express the root knowledge.
Yes.
And no need of anything from my pocket, because every knowledge is available there. So I'm here to bring that root knowledge as is to the community. And, I'm really fortunate to have this opportunity to work with people like you, to work with the associations, and to be with Kerala Ayurveda, really, with this passion of bringing the root knowledge. It's a beautiful science, and it makes difference in our own life. It will help difference in our family's life, and it will help create a difference in the entire, community. And there is no dharma beyond this. Helping people while they are in pain is considered as the highest human virtue, the highest human value. Learning Ayurveda is learning to express the highest human virtue, highest human value, the dharma possible in this human lifetime.
Wow. Beautifully said. And I am very fortunate and very grateful. And please come back and visit us again here on the podcast very soon if you have time. It's such a pleasure. And again, thank you for everything you're doing in the world. And it's just a real pleasure to study with you as well. So I look forward to chatting with you again soon. And best wishes to you and your family.
Namaste. Namaste, Colette. And namaste to all listening to this podcast. Life is so beautiful. Let us celebrate. Let us cherish. Let us make the full out of this, time on this earth, learning these, root principles of Ayurveda, and make it as a part of our life. And my blessings and my best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. We'll leave it right there. Perfect words to end on. Namaste.
Namaste.
It's always such a pleasure to speak with Dr. J, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you decide after listening to this episode that you want to study with Kerala Ayurveda, just click on the link in the show notes, keralaayurveda.us. And when you're filling out your application online, let them know that you heard it on the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. In the reference code of that form, just put in the code ELEMENTS to let them know that you heard our conversation here on the podcast. And I will also add in the show notes the telephone number that Dr. J talked about, along with the link to the competition for the Daily Habits for Holistic Health course that's starting on February 21st. If you think that this podcast will be helpful or interesting to family members or friends, please share it with them. And thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Take good care of yourself, be well, and ciao for now.